Good morning, and just a thought this morning. I was reading through the Bible and recognized that the Bible does say that the heart of man is desperately wicked. That is found in Jeremiah 17 and verse 9. And I thought, just on a whim, let me take a look at that word that says that the heart is desperately wicked. And I found out that it is more the desperate than the wicked that the scripture is mentioning. So much so that the word desperately wicked, the only time wicked appears in that context or for that word is in Jeremiah. The word actually conveys an illness and so much so an incurable disease or an incurable illness. It's beyond cure. And so it says that the heart of man has a disease that is incurable. And I thought that acted at such a deep level because it explains why wickedness and evil exist at such fundamental and foundational levels. But not only does the Bible say that man is wicked and man has an incurable disease, and it's aligned not to his goodness, but to his wickedness or to his ability to do evil. I looked into that and thought to myself, that is such a strong statement. But then the Bible says, who can know the heart of man? Clearly, if my heart is desperately wicked, I'm going to deceive myself into thinking I'm good, I'm all right. This is the standard that I'm supposed to be living at. And a lot of times when it gets to that point, we've missed it so far. I like what the Bible does say as it concludes those couple verses. It says that God knows the heart of man. Therefore, what may be incurable for the human heart by humans, so I can't tinkle with conscience. And while I might train it at some levels, it still has a heavy dose of evil. And while I might do some behavior modification, it doesn't change my motives. And while I might try to enhance my standard of living, it still does not impact the outcomes. And so in a very real way, my situation, I can't do anything about it, nor can I rely on anyone else to do it for me because they're as evil as I am. And I'm using some comparative phrases. You may say, but I don't kill and I don't do this and I don't do that. But really, we're all breaking the laws of God and our hearts are complicit. But the Bible says God knows our hearts. If there is anybody who can apply the cure, it would be God. If anybody that can treat with the infection would be God. And clearly this needs an out of human experience. We need the open heaven. We need an open system so that we allow God to come in. And I hear the atheist saying this is a closed system. There is no supernatural. There is no spiritual. I hear the agnostic making the claim that though there is a God somewhere out there, he clearly has left us up to our own devices and we can't reach him and he refuses to reach us. And I hear all of that. But if I am to take that, it means that my incurable state is not about to get any better. But God, in his wisdom, understands my state, understands my frame, and in the midst of this gives me the assurance he knows the disease. He knows how to fix the disease. And the Bible says he rewards according to our action. So though my heart is infected with an incurable disease, according to human science and human intervention, God intervenes at that level. God changes those things. And then he allows us the opportunity to follow through having been cured. So it's like a man who was paralyzed from his waist down and used a wheelchair. Now that he can walk, if he still goes back to the wheelchair, we would feel that something is definitely wrong, not just with him physically, but with him mentally. And so what happens is, now that our hearts are cleaned up, because God is able to apply the cure, it would be remiss of us if he then turns back and does not make a judgment as to our ability to follow through on being cured. I can't have the same response if I am cured as if I am not healed, or if I've not had the balm of Gilead applied. If the Son of Righteousness did not arise in my life with healing in his wings. I say to us clearly, God's judgment is not based on some vai or irrational thought. God's judgment is going to be based on having provided the cure and having sought to apply the cure. Then we seek not to move past the disease. If I have cancer, had cancer and I was healed, then God expects me and all of the people who would have really reached out to me would have expect now that I'm healed, I'll act in a certain way. Now that the desperation of the situation has left me, I'll act in a certain way. Now we've been healed, God expects us to act in another way. God bless.